Welcome to episode 134. Have you been thinking it's time to get away, but planning the trip is half the battle? Then let the travel specialists at 3D Travel Company plan your getaway today. Just head to my website, www.whodidthatvoice.co, and click the 3D Travel Company logo on our homepage to get your free quote today.
Welcome to Who Did That Voice, the show where we take an in-depth look at voiceover. And now, here's your host, Trenton Larkin.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the show. Today's special guest is the voice of Oolong from Dragon Ball Kai. I hope you all enjoy this clip and the interview to follow.
What? Are you nuts? Allow me to be the voice of all that's decent and sane by saying, what the hell? No way, no how, not happening. Everyone's a critic. Transformation!
Ladies and gentlemen,
boys and girls,
welcome to Who Did That Voice?
In just a moment, the show will begin. So please, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Who Did That Voice. Today I am super excited to be bringing you an interview with Bryan Massey. Bryan, thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Trenton. Everybody, how you doing out there?
Well, Bryan, the very first...
they can't answer, can they?
No, they can't. But, you know, Bryan, the very first thing we love to do when we have a guest on the show is to get to know them just a little bit better on a more personal level. So tell me about little Bryan Massey, the boy that grew into the man he is today, and how did he become an actor?
Well, little Bryan Massey started back in those days in the 70s, early 70s, or mid-70s. We had tape recorders, audio cassette tapes, and I first learned about storytelling and acting through telling little adventures on our tape recorder, and we had our own little series called The Adventures of Barfy. And, and Barfy, all my friends would talk, and I did Barfy, and all I would ever do for Barfy, like, hey, Barfy, where are we going? He would go, bleh. Oh, no, Barfy threw up again. So I made these cassette tapes, and my parents found them one day, and actually, I guess there was cursing on the tape, and they washed my mouth out with soap.
Oh no!
And parents never do this because I literally was on the floor sick as a dog, and I belched, and I literally saw a bubble from a dishwashing machine float out of my mouth. It was horrific.
Yeah, I remember those soap. I remember the soap in the mouth days. That's definitely a bygone era. Thank God. So, Bryan, that's pretty awesome, man. You guys were making shows at, you said what age? How old were y'all making those Barfy episodes?
I was 7 years old. I was
Good
7
night.
years old. I just moved to Texas. I'm from, I was born in Pontiac, Michigan, and Detroit, Michigan, same place as Madonna, or the same hospital.
Wow.
But unfortunately, no relationship. But I'm working on it. Just kidding. I started telling stories when I was a kid and really enjoyed writing and, making imaginary stories to just kind of, escapism.
Yeah.
I fell in love with cartoons, of course, and movies and all that stuff. I was very formative years. I just embraced all facets of storytelling, and I always would shamelessly put myself in my own stories, and here we are today.
That's awesome. So when you were a little kid, what were some of your favorite animations to watch?
I love Popeye. When I was every morning, Scooby-Doo, of course, was really hot. My brother and sister, Rose and Matt, we'd all get up early. This is when we get up, like 6 in the morning to go watch cartoons. We'd all run to the living room and turn the TV and pour cereal. Our mom and dad would still be in bed, and we would just watch like Plastic Man and Space Ghost. I love Johnny Quest.
Oh yeah, I love Johnny Quest.
I just saw The Incredibles 2 for the second time. We saw it in 3D, and I love animation. I love anime. I love cartoons. I love as long as it's a good story, I'm in.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Well, speaking of amazing shows and different things, including anime, Bryan has been on animated projects such as Ace Attorney, Overlord, Space Dandy, Ninja Slayer, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is amazing, and so many more. So, Bryan, what are some of your favorite, and do you have any great stories from behind the scenes or any fun interactions with coworkers and voice actors?
Yeah, I learned right away, whatever you say in the booth, is forever recorded. So I was doing a show called Toriko, and I was in there. I remember Tyler Walker was the ADR on that, and Kyle Phillips back then that's when he got his first ADR chops as well. He was first a technician. He was the tech, and I got in there, and we're doing this show, and we had Tex-Mex for lunch, and it was a long day. And I remember I'm doing this character Zonge, and Collar just kept saying, "You want him to sound like the wrestler from Gorgeous Jim." Sorry.
Yeah.
And he's also in Spider-Man. The guy was like, "Hey, get down, you little freak! Hey, come here, Spider-Man! What are they gonna do? Hey, you're ridiculous, man! Whatever, dude." I was having a ball with this character, and of course, I ended up breaking wind. And for you kids at home, so. I broke wind in the booth, and they were laughing, and Kyle had it on, and he played it all the time, and somehow that clip ended up being on the DVD commentary of Toriko. So if you ever want to go get the Funimation English dub of Toriko and you listen to the ADR commentary, I'm in there, and Kyle Phillips. Shout out to those guys. You gotta be careful what you say. That's a fun story.
That is
There's a few more.
Pretty funny, man.
Thanks, brother. Yeah, it was. Wow. That was a good walk back. I just became a dad, so I was all open about, everyone's our natural gas resources as human beings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's
whatever that means to you.
Yeah, right. Well, Bryan, one of the projects you've been a part of has been a show that I've absolutely gravitated towards since I was young. It's the Dragon Ball franchise, which you've played on a movie and some TV show, a little bit of everything with it. What has it been like for you to be a part of that amazing franchise that has had such a massive fan base and a great following for such a long time, even to this very day, whether they're from Japan, from the original anime, or from the anime that was brought to the United States? What has it been like for you to voice Oolong on that show?
Well, it's almost like a fairy tale, to be honest, Trenton. I was in Comic-Con, I believe it was 2008. I was there for a movie called Universal Squadrons, and I just found out on the way to that con, that was my first time to go to Comic-Con, that I was doing I got the job of Oolong. Chris Sabat had told me, and I was super elated. So I get to Comic-Con, and I'm walking around the second day just as a fan, and I see Chris Sabat, and he's got this line, and it's just, it's longer than even Peter Mayhew's Chewbacca line. It was just so many people, just his fans just all the way around and I was like, wow. And I just walked over to him. I'm like, with my friends, I'm like, I got to say hi to this guy. He just gave me a job on Dragon Ball. So I run over to him, and he goes, "Hey, everybody, it's Bryan Massey, the voice of Oolong." And I turn around, and all of his fans all of a sudden became my fans as well. And but I quickly realized that they were always going to be, as am I, a Sabbath fan, because he gave me that job, and I'm forever grateful. Because I love Dragon Ball. I got to replace an actor who had moved to New York, and so it was originally his character, but through the art of mimicry, we got there, and it was a total hoot. I had a really good time, and the time that I got to be a part of the show was wonderful.
Absolutely. Well, Dragon Ball is definitely a show that, as a kid, I wasn't ever into Dragon Ball. I really caught it when it started with Dragon Ball Z, but the characters have just captivated me through all the renditions because they've done such an amazing job, especially bringing it to the United States, trying to keep the continuity as best they can. I think, especially now today, they do a lot more with keeping continuity similar to what it is from Japan, because there's a lot of diehard fans who want to see it that way. And it's amazing that you've been a part of that franchise, along with others like Full Metal Alchemist and so many others that you've been a part of through your career. You've just had a lot of opportunities to be there for the fans in some amazing characterizations you've gotten to voice for them.
Yeah, thank you. Full Metal Alchemist is one of my, if not my favorite anime series of all time. So when that came out, the Brotherhood, the rendition, and I got in there, I was over the moon elated. Mike McFarlane was the ADR director on that, and when I got in the booth, I was just like, this is so cool because I loved the first series, and to be part of Brotherhood was a unique ride, and
Absolutely.
it was great. And just a little note to the anime fans, the Freezer, Isaac McDougall, is a good guy. So when you watch it, remember, if you ever watch it again, remember that. Because, I was really proud of that part.
So, Bryan, we've talked about some amazing projects you've gotten to be a part of, and you told us a couple of fun stories behind the scenes. You've not only done animation, but you've also done video games such as Borderlands 2, where you played Captain Cabrera. What was it like for you to get to voice on a video game, and how much of a difference do you think it is to voice for a game versus an anime or an animation?
Well, yeah, the video game work is different because unlike anime or cartoon or animation, you usually 9 times out of 10, from my experience, I get to at least see the animation. I can react to picture. Whereas in a video game, you're just dealing with lines. You might have a picture or a sketch of what the character is going to look like ultimately, but you have to just go off sense memory as far as your acting goes. It's all just done through imagination. There's nothing more than just the dialogue. You don't have to see anything. You're just in a booth, listen to the director on the earphones, and you're trying not to blow your voice out, which is ultimately what they want to happen. In video games, I've never done one where I didn't end up blowing my voice out. I worked on a video game called Rage, and they just moved it to uncredited, which I don't understand because I'm in level 3, I believe. Okay. I couldn't get to it, but my nephews got to it, and I got to see my character, at least hear myself. But I had to do a Russian accent.
Oh,
and
sweet.
I'm in the booth. I'm doing this Russian role. I'm screaming these lines. I'm like, "What am I doing? I'm going to kill you!" And we're doing the part, and then by the end of the day, I just was like this squeaky mouse Russian, like, "No, understand? I am going to kill you after I find out where you are." I mean, my voice was shot, and not a very good depiction of what it really sounds like, but. The video game work is usually more intensive, although I have blown my voice out in the anime booth on some roles. Recently working on Black Clover. Shout out to that show.
Sweet.
# Black Clover. And Chris George to give me that role. That's a lot of screaming. So I get hired a lot for screaming roles. I'm seeing a pattern here.
You better get out some screaming insurance, man.
That's true. I bet there's a way. I'm sure there's a way nowadays to insure your tonsils or your voice.
Your voice, yeah.
I have no doubt that people do that all the time. I should look into that.
Well, I think like Mark Hamill and a lot of the big guys, I think the Disney studios and stuff, like they actually like put out an insurance policy for those guys because, if they're voicing stuff for animations or cartoons or whatever, I mean, even in the movies, they have to come back and redub stuff sometimes unless they've got, somebody doing it for them. But,
Right. That's true. Yeah. Mark Hamill, I'm not worthy. I'm a big fan of him. Obviously he's amazing. He's so gifted. His Joker is the best.
It's my favorite.
It is. Mine too, man.
It is so good, dude. And it's so hard to sometimes move beyond what you love and know, but times change and characters change. And unfortunately, you just can't be there forever, unfortunately.
Right. Unfortunately, that's true. We all must leave it behind. So leave your best behind.
Absolutely.
Leave your best behind. That sounds like a bad punchline. Check out my best behind. Okay.
Either that or the next best-selling novel about voiceover. It just depends on how you pitch it.
There you go. Look, I like this optimism, Trenton. I think we have a sequel to this show.
Absolutely. Bryan, what is your social media, or do you have a website? How can people reach out to you if they want to know about voiceover or maybe ask you questions or whatever, man?
Yes. Okay, good call. Real quickly, my Twitter handle is at Mr. Massey. That's Mister Massey, Mr. Massey. And I have a Facebook page. I think it's Bryan Massey on Facebook. That's a fan page. I'm also on there personally. And then I'm on. If you want to, we're teaching more classes. I'm an acting coach as well. I do coach classes for Starman Studios. If you want to check out our next enrollment coming up, this is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas. You can contact Josh JOSH at starmanstudios.com for details about that class coming up. We're about to wind down with my new class. This Thursday's our showcase, and we're real excited. We got Kyle Phillips coming in from Funimation, and he's going to watch our actors as well as some agents are going to be there.
That's awesome.
Namely my agent. So, yeah, I'm real excited. And, I love helping people out. I know how difficult it is to break into business. I've been chasing this for 30 years, Trenton, and I just started making a living at it. Just over 10 years ago, about 12 years, I've been making a living. When I say living, it doesn't mean it's a great living, but I can feed myself and my family.
That is amazing, man.
And, it's, I feel very fortunate. And it's true. If you stick with something long enough and work hard at it, there's a real shot of you getting a chance to do it. So that's the truth.
Well, Bryan, I have two final questions for you, and we will wrap this interview up. Yeah. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. The first of the two is, what is the kind of advice you would give to an aspiring actor or actress who's looking at joining this world of acting, but more specifically the niche itself of voiceover?
I think what you've got to do is first figure out who you are. And as an actor, there's always going to be, I did it myself for a long time, 10 years approximately, and I did as much murder mystery shows. I did stage, I did musicals, I did West Side Story, Urban Performing Arts. There's always free theater to get in and do theater. I know that some people are like, I could never do theater. I love theater. Like, that's my goal, is to get back on the big stage and do. I love to do a show in New York. That's like a dream. So
Yeah.
you gotta love acting for starters, because it's a rough business, and it's really, and it can be hard, but it can also be amazing. How that works out is going to be based on how much time you put into it. Someone gave me great advice years ago. Your career moves as fast as you make it move. So
wow.
Tenacity is a real thing. And if you can get hungry for it, I also recommend just record yourself. Listen to how you sound. We all have contraptions to record everything nowadays. Make a movie. Put yourself in your own stuff. Go around and see how you look on camera. See how you sound on a microphone. Create your own content. You got YouTube. You got all these things that we didn't have when I was starting out. We had a phone book and a roll of pennies. You had to try to figure out how to get a hold of an agent. And nowadays, you can just go to IMDbPro.com and buy it. People can just spend $100 and something and go look at who's agent.
Yeah.
You can go. The work is so easy now that it's become almost too easy, where people can become complacent, and complacency never is never going to be a place you're going to grow from.
Yeah.
If you're going to be complacent. And I got one last quote for you. I just
Sure.
read this somewhere. Did you ever hear about the guy that gave up? Neither did anybody else. So that's a good motivational quote.
I love that, Bryan. Thanks so much for sharing that advice, man.
Of course.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, I've got
My pleasure.
Thank you, man. Thanks so much. Well, I've got one final question for you. Are you ready for this massively awesome question?
I am ready for the question, Trenton. Let's get it now.
All right, man. So the question is, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Ooh, that's a good question. I just want people to look at my work and the things I did and be entertained by it. I mean, I'm trying to leave behind entertainment. I'm trying to do it now. I want to leave behind something, obviously, for my daughter. I want to leave behind something for everybody, a piece of me, because none of us are gonna make it out of your lives. So the best thing I can do is to give the best of me, because I don't know any other way than to make people I want to make people smile and laugh. It's just, you can't make everybody smile and laugh. We all know that.
Yeah.
Some people you probably make quite the opposite, but the goal is always to enlighten people with my art, with my acting and storytelling. I feel so blessed, and I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but I feel very honored to have been a part of the things I've got to be a part of, and that's just my sheer will to not give up.
Absolutely, Bryan. Well, thank you so very much for your amazing stories, your great advice, and your solid legacy. I think the legacy you want to leave behind is amazing, and I hope 10,000 years down the line, people will still be listening to Who Did That Voice.
Thank you, man. Thanks, man. Very kind.
You're very welcome, Bryan. Well, Bryan, it has been an absolute honor and pleasure having you on the show today. Would you do us the honor of closing our episode out as Oolong from Dragon Ball?
Hey, who did that voice? It's Oolong here from Dragon Ball Z Kai. Hey, we gotta do this thing right. Oh my goodness, the Dragon Balls. Thanks for having me, Trenton. I had an absolute blast. Later, dogs. Peace out. Hello, this is Bryan Massey, and you've been listening to Who Did That Voice with Trenton. Cheers, mate.
Well, everyone, I sure hope you enjoyed today's episode with Bryan Massey, the voice of Oolong, and so much more. And if you did, please find me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram by searching Who Did That Voice. And don't forget to like, comment, and share. For those of you listening on YouTube, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification on the right-hand side so you don't miss out on a single episode. I've been your host, Trenton Larkin, and I'll see you next time. A question you might ask yourself is, where can I listen to Who Did That Voice? That's an excellent question. You can hear us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, YouTube, and our website at www.whodidthatvoice.co. Click the episodes tab and listen away. Do you have a great idea for a podcast? Ever thought of creating your own show? If so, send me a message by visiting my website, www.whodidthatvoice.co, and use the Contact Me section at the bottom of the homepage for your free 30-minute consultation and quote. Well, everyone, that's all the time we have for this episode. Join us next time for our special tribute episode to Judith Varsi, the voice of Ducky from The Land Before Time, and the voice of Anne Marie from All Dogs Go to Heaven. You won't want to miss this episode. Hey, do you ask yourself who did that voice? Well, if you do, go to our website, www.whodidthatvoice.co, and click on the Episodes tab. Choose an actor, pick their name, and see pictures from the different characters they've voiced in their career.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time for more discoveries on Who Did That Voice.